Warte. Warte. So, hi! Today we're gonna talk about how to get the film look. But first, roll the intro. But first of all, Dehancer provided me with this product, but all thoughts and opinions are mine. So it's actually pretty easy to use. We open up Lightroom, and here you already see a picture I've taken on my last trip. On the right hand side you see the typical Lightroom writer, settings, the histogram, exposure, contrast, everything. We're not gonna use this today. We're gonna right click on the picture if the exposure is right and everything, and we click edit in and edit in Dehancer Lightroom plugin. Before that, you obviously have to go to the Dehancer site and download it and do all the stuff which you need to use it. You can follow a description on their site how to use the plugin and install it in Lightroom. Dehancer did a great job in explaining this. Now, there we have edit photo with Dehancer Lightroom plugin, edit with a copy with Lightroom adjustments. What we do here, you can click on edit original too if you changed it already up before and just wanna edit the original. Let's click edit, and as you can see, Dehancer is open. So here you see, this is what Dehancer looks like. We have a lot of writers on the right hand side. I will go through them. We have presets on the left hand side. We have a preview button. We can click a resize button and a histogram on the bottom. On the left top you see film profiles. You can click on yes, use it, and then you already see ADOX color implosion 100. And now we click through some of those film profiles. As you see, they are actually named after the actually film, not a weird project, you name it, weird non-licensed stuff. You have the real names of the real film types, like Sinister HRT, like Fujicolor C200, like Ilford HP5, like Kodak Actor 100, Kodak Gold 200, Portra, a lot of stuff, even fancy stuff like Polaroid Type 100 sepia expired in 2009. And if you zoom in, you can even see nice grainy picture here. But we're gonna use the presets. We go to the Dehancer team presets. As you see, my last edit I did was with Kodak Portra 400. Portra is extremely expensive here. It's like between 25 to 30 euros. If you're lucky, like 20 euros, but this is really rare. So I like to use Portra 400 preset because I save some money. Yeah. Good point. This is like a budget channel. Saving money is good for us. And now, if you hit the spacebar, you see before, after, before, after. A few things to mention here. The halation around the trees, which comes from the halation rider on the side. See, no halation, halation. And now you have a lot of options to use, like smoothness, local diffusion, global diffusion, amplify. If we use the amplifier rider here, you see it gets a little bit over the top, but if you have sun coming from the background, usually you have a lot of halation in film. You have even a masking mode, which you can see here a lot around the trees, which comes in pretty handy. Then, start from the top, the source, we can adjust the exposure. Let's push it a little bit. We can make it a little bit warmer or colder. The tint for more like a greenish or pinkish look. I actually like it if it's a little bit on the green hand side here. You can actually see, especially here, this is extremely useful. Nice. And then film developer, we have a contrast boost, a little bit engage, a gamma correction. Gamma correction, you will see is boosting a little bit of the shadows, which I like to get some more details. Then the film compression. As you see, it's pulling a bit away from the highlights on the mountain. Can adjust the white point a little bit, which comes in pretty handy too if you wanna push a little bit of the highlights or bring them a little bit down. Expand is more like the blacks and the whites in Lightroom. As you can see here, works pretty fine. Print is like emulating a certain kind of paper. This is one of those sliders where you can see a big difference if you just click a little bit through the profiles. Like, wow, this is boosting a lot of contrast and highlight. We even have Scenic film log, which is pretty nice if you want to use a lot afterwards. Or linear, I use the yep, I go with the glossy Kodak Enduro paper. And we have a color head for adjusting the colors. We have a gray button with a lot of more options, especially in comparison with Lightroom. I won't adjust it here too much, but just for the sake of doing it, yeah, more grain, more grain. Just the size of the grain even. Nice. Okay. Halation, we had this. Bloom doesn't do too much in this picture, as you can see here, but a nice effect, especially if you are using like night scenes with neon lights and sinister, for example. Now we have film damage even, which is pretty funny because it's like, yeah, It's some 45mm full frame image. You can refresh it and then you see all those little scratches like you have in real film. I'm gonna switch it off for this picture, and you even have some vignetting you can use. I actually turned it off in this picture. Here, for explanation, I used a Canon AE1 with a 50mm 1.8 Canon FD lens and my Canon R8 with the RF 50mm 1.8. So I have two cameras with me with the same focal length, the same aperture, and I used completely the same settings. So we have a good base for comparison as I showed in the beginning, and you can see now. There is even a mobile version, as you can see here. All you have to do there is you open up your picture, and then as you can see we go through all the film presets, and they are exactly the same like in the desktop version. And I chose also a picture from my last trip. Here you can see the Kodak Portal 400 plus Enduro preset. We do the same adjustments as I do in the desktop version. I click through all the different options we have here, doing some exposure composition and switching through the different settings, so I get the result I want. My app is in German because I'm from Germany, my phone is German, and yeah, here we even see some film damage, and yeah, then you just have to export it. And now, after we exported the picture, let's talk about some pros and cons. The first pro is you definitely get a film look, a really good looking film look. To be honest, on social media especially, nobody sees the difference. Let's be honest, it's like that. The second pro thing I have is you have the option of a free trial for 2 weeks, so you can try it for yourself, and you have most of the function unlocked. The third pro is you save a lot of money in the long term. Like for the $200, the Dehancer all-time usable version costs the same amount of money for 8 rolls of portrait, especially with developing it and letting it scan in a lab here. It's even twice as expensive. So for 4 rolls of portrait you actually get a digital equivalent of it for like unlimited film, let's call it like this. Especially if you shoot like me, not in burst mode but in single shot mode, and there are adapters for like a Canon RF 2 FD mount, so you can use those old vintage lenses, and this even makes it even more authentic. And probably, like I said, the big pro is it just looks good. There's a nice grain, there's nice colors, and really good film look overall. Not, and especially this is important, not overpowered like a lot of Lightroom presets are. But to do some real talk, the cons. Yeah, it's not actually real film. Captain of the Oz. The mojo, the vibe, the mood, shooting film, letting it develop, and that get developed, waiting for the scans, the feeling when the scans can come in, even the feeling when the lab says, hey, there are actually pictures on your film, you didn't mess up, there are pictures, and then getting the scans looking good, you didn't mess up, you take awesome pictures, you instantly have the real authentic thing. And yes, they don't look exactly like 100% the real deal, because, and it's really important, film gets developed and scanned, and this is a real physical process, like the person who develops it. How long is the developer? Like, how is the person scanning it in the lab? Like, how is his or her color correction? And yeah, just a lot of steps more involved, which can produce a different result every time your film gets developed. Here, it's much more digital. Like, if you use the same settings and stuff like that, you'll always get the same result. And as I said, a tip, get vintage lenses, get the adapter, the RF to FD adapter, and you get much closer to the real deal. So, to the conclusion, I will definitely use it, especially like in jobs or something where I wanna have like a film look, but don't want to put all my trust in my own abilities and in the abilities of a lab and stuff like that, and my camera and the film roll, and it's just too risky. And it's just too risky to use actually analog film, and you just want to be on the safe side. Yes, it's not 100% perfect and the same thing, but you get as close to the real thing as you can get digitally. So, if you want to use Dehancer, go to the Dehancer site, try the free trial, or even buy the real deal. You can get actually 10% off with my code Blanke, as you say in German, blank if you say it in English. And yeah, that would help me a lot. The affiliated link is in the description, and have fun with it. You can like, comment or subscribe if you're into that. Until the next video, goodbye. So, what do we do next?